Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, race number 6 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. You heard in the intro, my good pal Tony Trapasso passed away about a month ago. His call there that you heard at the end of that intro was from when we all met up here at this very track to watch these cars go around this beautiful 1.5-mile track. Folks, my name is Greg McConey. I'm back in the booth again, sitting in for my good buddy, Mike, who is actually on his way to the track right now. So that's why I was able to jump in the booth with you all here. Hope you all are ready for a fantastic show. We're going to jump right into qualifying and see exactly what's going on at the minute right now. Kensley Smith out on track, laying down. Just finished his qualifying time at a 33:29, puts him up into P2. Your current leader, Ira Kohlhaas, Kinsley Smith, Timothy Hoke is currently in third, Dennis Kane in fourth, and fifth right now, just finishing his qualifying run, is Corey Crowell with a 33:60. We're going to go through the rest of the top 8 that have qualified so far. Jarrett Larder, Aaron Marquis, and Kirby Wainscott, currently the only 8 that have qualified. Joshua Neal, Lee Campbell, and Alex Teft have completed laps, but at this time have not been able to get a qualifying time down. Last week's winner, Brandon Puffenbarger, Andrew is currently not taking a qualifying time. Andrew Teft, Ian Campbell, Gary Madu, and Daniel Honeycutt all as well have not taken times. We're going to jump over here to Joshua Neal getting ready to start his qualifying lap. We'll talk a little bit here soon, folks, about this race and about what you are expecting to see tonight, where the fast lines are going to be, and how you're going to make passes here at Homestead. Josh riding that wall right now, trying to gain as much speed as he can. Getting ready. He's going to back off in a... Nope, I thought he was abandoning this run. He will not. Hooked it down to the bottom to gain as much speed as he could, coming down to the stripe. Currently, Josh Neal with a 33.92 sits in P10. Alex Teft right now just finishing his qualifying run with a 33.72, puts in P8. Lee Campbell getting ready to finish up his qualifying time. He's going to come across the line. He's currently in P7. Second lap, a 33.56 put Lee up to 5th. We're going to jump back to we're going to jump back to Brandon Puffenbarger. Right now getting ready to come down the back stretch, going into turn 3 and 4, riding up at the wall. And let's see what happens right now, folks. I'll update you on Joshua Neal. Did not improve on his time from a 33.73. Brandon Puffenbarger with his first lap goes up to a 33.36 right now. That currently puts him P3 on the night. We're going to jump over to Ian Campbell in this 12 machine. He's up on the wall. That's not where you want to be. This lap will be invalidated as he's in 1 and 2 right now. Let's see. As Ian gets ready to come through turn 4, he's going to keep that car as high as he can against the wall. Dives it into turn 1. You see Ian now diving down to the bottom. We'll talk about that here while we wait, or once these guys finish up their qualifying. We'll talk a little bit, like I said, about this beautiful 1.5-mile raceway. Used to house the finale for all of the NASCAR series, but now it does not do that. As we see, the 12 is abandoned this lap, comes down to the bottom, and he is going to do a tow here. Let's take a look at Andrew Teft coming out of turn number 2 right now. This beautiful number 98 Monster Energy car. Andrew sitting up against the wall, gaining every bit of speed that he can to finish this first lap. He is currently the only car out on track at the moment. As he crosses the line, jumps up to P10 with a 33.69. He's got a little more momentum on this lap. You see that rear end of the car getting a little bit squirrely. That's going to be a common theme tonight here. That's what we were hearing a lot of drivers in practice say. This car loves to get loose on that high line, especially as this run goes on. Really makes this a driver's car, which makes it very fun and very competitive. As Andrew comes across the line, he will not better his time of a 33.69, but will hold P10 still. And with that, Gary Madu is, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, is the only car that has not laid down a qualifying time right now. We've got about 30 seconds left in qualifying here, folks. And as this gets going, let me make a quick adjustment here. Make sure I've got everything working properly on my end. And I do believe that I do have everything ready here. We're going to hold off until the session officially starts, and then we will pull that live timing back up. As we wait now, qualifying has finished. Drivers are getting ready to grid. So we're going to wait for everybody to jump onto pit lane here. We'll pull our HUD back up so you can see where everybody has qualified. There we go. That's what I like to see. Once again, folks, welcome to the stream. My name's Greg McConey. We are down in beautiful Homestead-Miami, Florida. I have been to this race before. It is a fantastic show, especially once the sun goes down and the lights come on, just like we've got here tonight. This is when the cars really come to life. This is when the fun begins. We'll jump down and see these drivers all pitted up on pit road. Let's take a quick look at our qualifying order. Ira Kohlhaas currently on pole with a 33.258. Kensley Smith, Brandon Puffenbarger, and Daniel Honeycutt round out your top 4. Timothy Hoke and Dennis Kane make up row 3. Lee Campbell, Corey Crowell make up row number 4. Row number 5, Jarrett Larder and Andrew Teft. Row number 6, row number 5. Row number 6 is made up of Alex Teft and Joshua Neal. Aaron Marquis and Ian Campbell make up row number 7. Kirby Wainscott is currently going to round out the field here. Starting in P15, Gary Madu has not grid up and will be starting from the pits tonight, folks. While they're getting ready to parade around, we're going to take a quick look at the weather here tonight.
I can hear you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful 76 degrees outside. We currently have a 78-degree track temperature. We have clear skies, a 58% humidity, and an 8-mile-an-hour wind. All perfect conditions for a race here tonight in Homestead. As Ian Kohlhaas gets the green flag, we are racing here in Homestead, folks. Ira gets a great run to start. Brandon Puffenbarger jumps into P2. Up on that top side, Kensley Smith is side by side with Brandon Puffenbarger, trying to make that high lane work and carry as much momentum as we can. You see 3 wide behind them there. But right now, this battle for the lead is intense. These 4 drivers have all pulled themselves away a little bit, and they are ready to make this fight happen. As you see a little bit of contact with that outside wall and that 00, of Kensley Smith. Able to keep everything going, keeps that P2 position. As we see this fight going on right now, we have a little bit of a battle here running around P10 here. Right now, Joshua Neal, Aaron Marquis, Andrew Teft all fighting each other. But looking back up front, we got a fight right now with this 0-0. Using that momentum on the high line, trying to take the lead away, doesn't get it at the stripe, but gets it immediately after and lays down the fastest lap of tonight's race of a 33:48. Using that high line to his advantage, you see all these drivers using different lines, and that's the beauty of Homestead here, folks. This place has progressive banking, goes anywhere from 18, if I remember right, goes from 18 to 20 degrees the further up the track you go. Give a quick update here. The 2-car of Jarrett Larder currently in the pits. Has gone 1 lap down at the moment. We're going to jump back out to this battle up front as Kensley Smith, using that high lane, is able to pull himself ahead. Like I was just saying, folks, progressive banking at this track is going to be huge. What it allows you to do is carry a little bit more momentum, and you have a little bit more mechanical grip running on that higher side because it forces a car into the track a little bit better. You need to be careful with it, though, because it can pull up tires more than that bottom lane because you're in the throttle a lot harder. Your entry's a lot tougher on that right front tire, so these guys are going to have to be mindful of that. As that last lap, Brandon Puffenbarger lays down your fastest lap of the race at a 33:40. Still looking up front, this battle, these top 4 have pulled themselves away by a second over fifth place Dennis Kane right now, fighting side by side with that 14 of Lee Campbell. File starting to form out front, a little bit further back from this fight. Alex and Andrew side by side, the 43 and the 98 fighting it out for this 9th place position. At high line, you get more momentum coming off the high side at the sacrifice of that tire. But down on the bottom, if you're able to get your entry right, you can really rotate that center well. Over the whole position. Now this is your close battle with Joshua Neal, Alex Teft, and Andrew Teft. These 3 all right now separated by about 0.2 of a second, or about 2 car lengths. As they're rolling well here, folks, we're going to jump ahead. Actually, we're going to stay right here because this battle is getting intense right now. Between these 2, you see that 98 of Andrew really pushing that bottom well. Was able to get alongside Alex in the corner, just not able to hold it. So you see him catch the apron there. That's a big moment there for Andrew, trying to catch that apron. That really upset the car and shot him up the track. Now he's got to fight Joshua Neal here, try and hold off that 82 machine. That U.S. silicone machine, I've been told, of that 82. Beautiful looking scheme. These guys pulled out all the stops tonight, folks. This is one of the places, like I said, when this transitions to a night race, it is so much fun, and the color schemes on these cars really pop and come to life. We're going to jump ahead a little bit. Corey Crowell in that 21 trying to hold off the advancing 43 now. Alex currently up now 3 positions as he gets ahead. You see the 41 tag the wall. It's just stuck up there, and that's that risk you take. You get the advantage of speed on the high line. But if you hit that entry wrong, all you're going to do is put that car into the fence. These guys right now doing great, but we're going to jump right up to the front It's this 5-car, Brandon Puffenbarger. Like I said, won last week in Kansas in a race that went green the entire time. 7 leaders, 11 lead changes. Puffenbarger won by about 4.5 seconds, leading 51 laps, and he's looking for the lead here again tonight, trying to get down underneath that 00. While all this was going on, before these guys jumped out on track, I kind of snuck into Puffenbarger's car to get a gyro cam on there so you see exactly what's going on. But of course, as I say that, he now gets himself clear. Yep, he gets himself clear. Puffenbarger back out to the lead again tonight, but that 00 of Kinsley Smith right on his rear end. And here comes that 72 of Daniel Honeycutt trying to get himself back into the mix. He gets down alongside that 00. He's going to clear him on corner exit, move the 72 up to the front. Ira Kohlhaas, your pole sitter, currently sitting P4, just riding behind this group, letting these guys do what they need to do. Now Ira's trying to get underneath that 00. Does a great job, is able to get side by side here as they come down the backstretch, not able to hold it on corner entry. But you see that 29 just rotates the center so well, gets such a good drive off. Kinsley may have went in and burned his stuff up a little bit on that corner entry like we talked about. You got to be careful on that high side. If you take that entry too hard too many times, you're going to burn that right front and tighten that car up a lot more than you want, as you saw that 00 really moving up to that wall. While all this is going on, we're jumping back to the 98 here. Back in the melee with Lee Campbell, Joshua Neal, and Ian Campbell. These 4 drivers all over each other right now, trying to make a pass and work their way back to the front. Andrew's been living on that high line lately, and he's made some advances. You see all the exhaust coming out of the side and the sparks out of the side of this car. What that means is that's where those guys are letting off fuel, and it's just dumping fuel as you see the 98 shoot to the bottom. Avoids the block of the 14, shoots himself to the apron, and he's going to roll the bottom here, trying to clear himself on corner exit of turn 4. He does. 98 slides up in front. That's another position for Andrew. Currently 2 up from the start of this race. As just behind him, Joshua Neal, Ian Campbell fighting side by side. As Ian's going to put it 3 wide here, goes through the middle. Little bit of contact with that 82 machine. They're able to keep it all going. Everybody's going straight as the 12 gains another position on Lee. Really threw that car to the bottom there on the entry of 3. Slides right on up. Gets in the draft of that 98. And Ian's working his way forward. He's currently up 5 from where he started tonight. Your biggest mover, though, is this 41 machine of Aaron Marquis, up 6 positions from the start, now tied with Ian Campbell, who is also up 6 positions from the start of tonight's race. Hope the sound and everything is all right for everybody in the booth. I'm trying to make sure nothing is too loud or too quiet for you. While this is going on, we're going to jump back up to P4 here. Corey Crowell, Kinsley Smith fighting side by side. Kinsley having a little bit of trouble in this early run. Just falling back, trying to keep up with that car. Corey now up 4 positions ahead of him. Now, while all this is going on, these guys are about 3.5 seconds back from your top 3. Brandon Puffenbarger, Daniel Honeycutt separated by about 2.5 car lengths. Ira Kohlhaas riding right now in P3, about 3/4 of a second back from Daniel. These guys doing everything they can right now to stay ahead of that group behind them. With all this, we got to jump back, though, because the fight is on for P6. Looking for P5. Here comes Ian. Down underneath that 00 of Kinsley Smith. Just going to clear him on corner entry, and he's got his sights set on Dennis Kane in that 4. Just about clear, throws the slide job up on the 4 on exit here. Ian Campbell up 9 positions in that body armor machine. Currently up into the top 5, 20 laps into this run. Just behind him, Andrew Teft, this 98, trying to fight Aaron Marquis in that 41. We've got battles all over the place. Lee Campbell fighting now with that 82 of Joshua Neal. You're seeing a lot of guys kind of migrate to that middle line, about a lane up from that apron. It's where they're finding the most speed at the moment. It's up front. Honeycutt and Puffenbarger still nose to tail on each other, rolling that bottom line. They pulled about another 1/10 of a second over Ira Kohlhaas in P3. These two doing everything they can to set the pace here tonight. We've got 130 laps. We are currently 22 in. These guys are running 65% fuel with 5 tire sets for this race. Means they should have 4 tire changes for these 130 laps. Last week's winner out front right now, still holding P1 position, up 2 from where he started. As the fight is back on for 7th place, Andrew Teft, Aaron Marquis, Joshua Neal, Dennis Kane. These 4 fighting it out as you see the 4 hit the wall a little bit. Just a little bit of scrape on the exit there of 4. Running right, into the, tags the wall this time. In 1 and 2, trying to run what's known as the Larson line. See if we can find somebody that's running that line real well. I believe Andrew's been doing it lately. Not just yet. 41, Aaron Marquis starting to do it. We'll get a good view here as he comes into turn 1 right now. That's a little bit too far inside. Got to get a better view of that, folks, but we're going to jump back out here. So this Larson line is known as right up against that wall. There's actually a little pocket of air that'll push on the backside of that car that forms between the rear quarter, the right rear quarter panel and the wall, and it kind of acts as a little bit of a bumper there and actually adds a little bit of downforce to that machine, so you can really live up there if you do it well. And it kind of gives you a little bit of a, not necessarily a speed boost, but you see how close Aaron is there to that wall. I'm going to update you guys right now. Jarrett Larder currently 3 laps down from your leader in that 2 machine after having to come in and pit. Currently sitting P15. Gary Madu has not jumped on track yet tonight, so he is currently sitting P16. Going to jump back up here to this fight between 12 and 21. As you see in the back, that was 41 of Aaron Marquis, tagged the wall a little bit on exit. Able to keep everything straight though back there, but this fight is your closest battle on track right now. Puffenbarger currently out to a 7/10 of a second lead over Daniel Honeycutt. Honeycutt, another 3/4 of a second back to Ira Kohlhaas. We'll look at these 3 right now. As you saw the battle we were just talking about back there, the 12 and 21 are side by side coming out of turn 2. Big run of momentum for this 12. He's going to clear the 21 of Corey into turn number 3. Rolls that high side, keeping as much momentum in the car as he can. But these guys, like we said in qualifying, these guys are having and finding that car is loose up on that top, but that's where all the speed is. As you see the 12 into the wall, Little bit of smoke there coming off of that machine. Just carried a little bit too much on entry. Wasn't able to keep it off. He's going to fall behind Corey now and try and push him down the stretch. Right behind them. Battle is on for 6th place as the 41's into the wall. Aaron trying to run that Larson line. Like we said, that's where all the speed is, but that's where you take the most risk of hitting the wall. 82 of Joshua Neal able to just squeeze out in front. Takes P6 over Andrew. It'll backfire out of those pipes as these guys are trying. Big moment there for Josh Neal. Really had to check that car up. Felt it sliding, trying to back out. And that's going to give Lee Campbell the spot. Now, the nice thing with Iracing's damage model, they've had the new damage model on these cars for a little while now, but the nice thing is they've become a little more lenient with it, where if you just scrape the wall a little bit, it's not going to hurt your car, not really going to give you a lot of damage, but if you repeatedly hit the wall, iRacing has implemented basically repeated damage. So if you keep hitting that right rear tire, you're more and more likely to hurt something in your long run. You know, blow the tire, damage the sway bar, all of that stuff. So it's something you really got to watch out for here. You see the 41 trying to pull up on that 98 of Andrew Teft here. He's going to hold that run. These three fall single file in line. Back. Ooh, big hit into the wall there for that 41 machine. That's what he's really got to watch out for. He's heating that tire up so much on that right side that he's not getting the grip that he needs to really secure that car in place. Back up front, Puffenbarger out to a 2-second lead now over Daniel Honeycutt, who's trying to hold off the advancements of Ira Kohlhaas, moving back up the field. Kohlhaas, I believe. Sorry about that. Ira Kohlhaas. These two right now doing everything they can to try and catch back up to Puffenbarger, who is currently pulled out to, like I said, a 2.25 second lead. Still rolling that bottom line. Jump back to these two here. As we've got pit stop started here, Lee Campbell, Dennis Kane, Kinsley Smith come down pit road. 33 laps into this run, they are the first to come in, get a set of tires on this thing, on these cars, and see what they can do. Daniel Honeycutt, your second place runner in pit road as well. Ian Campbell's on pit road as well. See if we can get a good shot at pit lane here as these guys are all in. 41 of Aaron Marquis in. 14 is the first car off of pit road. That's Lee Campbell right now. Got to stay down on this access road here. Can't come back up onto the track like they do in the real world NASCAR series. You got to get all the way around at the exit of turn 2 before you're able to merge back on. Honeycutt now out. Andrew Teft, this 98 monster, slides the rear end a little bit, trying to get that car woed down. He's on pit road. Kirby Wainscott on his way out in that SpongeBob number 10 machine. Jared Larder back in pit road. Your race leader, Brandon Puffenbarger, really just misses those barrels there as he comes in. Green flag stops have started, folks. Like I said, these guys have 65% fuel. They're right now, what Brandon's doing is trying to split this race up as evenly as he can to maximize his tire advantage. Currently, though, the 29 of Ira Kohlhaas, the 21 of Corey Crowell, and the 59 of Timothy Hoke in that Ollie's machine. Alex Teft has also not come down pit road. These four right now are staying out, trying to see if any yellow will come out, trying to play a different strategy than those around them. Brandon Puffenbarger out, Josh Neal coming out, Timothy Hoke coming onto pit road, and that Ollie's Camaro. These guys are looking at about 14 and a half seconds on a good pit stop. Sitting in their stall about a total time of 43, 44 seconds down pit road. 41 of Marquis in his stall. Ira Kohlhaas, Corey Crowell, and Alex Teff still have not come down pit road yet. Right now, as everything cycles out, the 5, Brandon Puffenbarger, will still remain your race leader. He's got about a 2-second gap back to Daniel Honeycutt. Alex Teft has come down pit road now. In that 43 Aflac of Carl Edwards. I believe that's the same paint scheme that Carl raced here at Homestead when he was fighting for his championship. Sadly did not win that race, ended up costing him the 21 of Corey Crowell in as well. He's going to take it to the attention of his crew. Ira Kohlhaas currently has a lap on Brandon Puffenbarger as he comes down pit road now. Nice smooth entry here. Just gets onto pit road for what I believe is a 55 mile an hour speed. 50 mile an hour speed. Here on pit road. That will end the cycle of green flag pit stops. Brandon Puffenbarger right now up to a 2.5 second lead over second place Daniel Honeycutt. Ian Campbell will come out in P3. Lee Campbell P4. Corey Crowell right now will come in P5 as all of this cycles out. Folks, like I said, we've seen our first round of green flag pit stops. We're going to take a quick side-by-side break, pay a couple bills, and we will be right back here at Homestead for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, race number 6 of the chase here at Homestead-Miami. Hang tight, folks. We'll be right back. Race is on, folks. Right now we are looking at the battle for P5. Lee Campbell trying to hold off Corey Crowell here. Once again, my name is Greg McConey. We are here at Homestead-Miami Speedway for race number 6 of the chase for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series here. This fight right now, one of your closest on track. That 14 of Lee trying to roll that middle line, doing what he can to keep some momentum. The 21, though, currently has about 6 lap fresher tires, trying to use them to his advantage on that low lane. He's going to get side by side. As you see the 14 have to check up a hair, catch that car. The 21's going to grab the run on the bottom, move the 21 of Corey up to P number 5. We're going to jump right back up front, though, folks. The battle is brewing, I should say, for P3 between Daniel Honeycutt and Ian Campbell. These two right now fighting it out. You see the 43 behind him right now. That's Alex. Sadly, Alex is not fighting for position with these two. Alex is the first car one lap down, so should the yellow come out, Alex will be getting the wave around as long as he is not involved in the wreck in any way. These guys kind of settling out a little bit, holding about a car length and a half between them at 12. Trying to roll that high side, gets the draft, gets to the rear quarter, tries to dump a little bit of air on that car. He's going to slow him down just enough to get a little bit of a run. They'll be side by side going into turn one here. Give the advantage to the 12 as he throws that car around the top. Has to check up a little bit. They're going to be side by side on exit. 12's going to have the run. The 43 goes up to push. Give the advantage to the 12 as he goes into 3. Ian Campbell up to P, number 2. Your biggest mover on the night, up 12 positions from where you started. Hope everybody in the chat is having a good time and enjoying. Love to have everybody chime in if you can. Let us know you're watching. Hope everything sounds good. These guys are putting on a fantastic race here right now. Still your closest battle on track at the moment. Brandon Puffenbarger out to a nearly 6-second lead over Ian Campbell and Daniel, as we saw before. We talked about it we talked about it at the start of the show. Puffenbarger won last week's race, leading 51 laps at Kansas. He's trying to do everything he can right now, folks, to keep himself in the lead. We're going to pull up the championship standings right now as these guys are fighting it out. Make sure I get the right numbers here. Now, these guys don't use the current NASCAR point system. They use the old school chase format. So basically, they use a set number of races, and how you run in those races is how gets you the points. And at the end of those races, I believe they use 10 in this series, if I remember correctly. 9, I'm sorry. They use 9 races. The series will end on November 8th at Texas at sunset for 130-lap finale. Right now, your point standings show Daniel Honeycutt, your points leader, tied with Brandon Puffenbarger coming into tonight's race at 2,222 points, followed by Andrew Teft. Right behind them, currently 28 points back. Lee Campbell, 38 points back from the lead. Alex Teft rounds out your top 5. He is currently sitting 44 points back. Dennis Kane, P6. Kensley Smith, P7. Corey Crowell is standing in P8 at the moment. Matthew Jarrett in 9th. Kirby Wainscott in 10th. And 11th is Jarrett Larder, currently 188 points back from the leaders of Daniel and Brandon. But they still have 3 races to go, folks. This can change in a heartbeat and become trouble for somebody in these chase standings. Right now, most of the field has spread out a little bit. Closest battle right now is actually between the 59 and the 10 of Kirby Wainscott and Timothy Hoke. These two are your closest on track at the moment. Both of these drivers are a lap down, though. So right now, I believe we only have 10 cars on the lead lap. The 4 should be your last car on the lead lap, if I am correct. which means that these guys are fighting hard tonight. And we expect this race to go green, which is very common here at Homestead. So we'll go back to this battle between Hoke and Wainscott right now. Wainscott using the top, Hoke on the bottom. Like I said, this track is wide enough. It allows a lot of drivers to use whatever line they choose. And you can really change how your car is handling based at where you are on the track. You see those seams, those dark black marks there. Those are actually the transition lines of where the track, of the angle on the track. Like I said, the bottom of the track, right down on that white line, is 18 degrees all the way up to 20 degrees at the wall. So based on where you're running and how your car is handling, you can change that feeling by changing your line on the track, moving up or moving down. Will do a lot for this car and affect your long run as well. You see that 10 just scraped the wall on entry. Has a little bit of trouble getting off, but that is something very common with these Xfinity cars, both in iRacing and in real life. Once you get into the wall, it just sucks you right up there, and it's very difficult to get off quickly and get that car back under full power. Jump ahead to this battle for P number 6. Lee Campbell, Joshua Neal, closest right now, fighting each other. You're seeing these small battles form here on this track with so much room to run. Everybody can go where they want, change this car, change their feeling, but the draft is still the biggest play here. But this track has a strong tendency to go green, especially after about 5 laps. Everybody kind of spreads themselves out. At that point, you are racing yourself and you're racing the track. And that's where pit strategy comes in. Maybe you come in a few laps earlier knowing that there's some tire fall off from where you were. Right now, these guys running about a second slower after, 20 laps, 23 laps on these tires. These guys are running about a second slower than their best time so far tonight. So here's something that I want to do, folks. We're going to jump in these cars, ride around with a few of these guys. We've got a couple different camera angles. We're going to do a crank it up, turn it up section. We're going to enjoy the sound of these cars rolling around this beautiful 1.5-mile racetrack in southern Florida. Hang tight, folks, and enjoy the sounds and sights of Homestead-Miami Speedway. folks, welcome back. I love the sound of these cars. I'm going to be honest, especially on a track like this where you are wide open for so long, you're having to burp and play the throttle. As we see this fight now forming up for P3 between Ira Kohlhaas and Daniel Honeycutt. We saw it in that little battle. Guys starting to really get close to each other. You're seeing those able to really control their tire wear are starting to make their way forward now. We are about 30 laps into this run, so we would expect a lot of these guys to be coming down pit road here very soon for their second pit stop on the night. So that 72 machine into the wall, little bit of Daniel Honeycutt. Trying, like I said before, that Larson line, trying to hold that little bit of air between that right rear tire and that right rear quarter and the wall. Kind of gives you that little boost, like I said, kind of creates that little extra downforce so that you get into the throttle sooner, get into it faster as well. We have now officially reached the halfway point here tonight at Homestead. We have been clean and green for 65 laps here. Andrew Teft will now be the first driver to come down pit road. While that battle's going on, we're going to cut right back to that now. As Honeycutt and Kohlhaas fighting side by side. Ira able to use that bottom line to get the lead in this fight right now. Daniel gets that run on corner exit. You saw it there. Was able to drive right up to the rear bumper of that 29 Camaro. Not able to do anything with it. Lee Campbell, Joshua Neal in as well. Andrew Teft's on his way off of pit road at the moment as he's getting ready to merge back up. Lee Campbell, Josh Neal, Dennis Kane all coming in. Look at these folks on pit road right now. The 21 of Corey Crowell comes down. You got to really watch that outside wall because it is very easy to get your car into trouble against it and end your night. Now the advantage for these guys is they do have one fast repair available to them. So if your car is severely damaged, you've got a black flag, the dreaded meatball as it's known in iRacing. You have one chance to fix that car fully, get it basically like the crew ran back into the hauler, grabbed the backup car, rolled it right onto pit road with all the changes and setup and everything that you had in this race, and basically acts like a quick driver swap. They jump into the new car, get their service, if they're doing any service, and then get right back out on pit road. That's 98 of Andrew Teft forming back up right there behind that 29 machine. Back into that right now. Jarrett Larder currently on pit road. Larder had to pit early, so he is a few laps down at the moment. Doing a great job staying in this race, doing whatever he can. A little bit of contact there. I believe that was 14, not the 14. That would have been the 00, I believe, Kenzie Smith. No, I was wrong. I don't know who that was that just tagged the wall there. We're going to go right back up front. 12 car Ian Campbell now on pit road, getting ready to make his stop. While all this has been going on and those guys have been fighting for second, Brandon Puffenbarger, your leader, has taken himself to a 10.5-second lead right now over Ira Kohlhaas. Brandon picking up right where he left off last week at Kansas as he now takes it down pit road. A little bit of a wiggle out of that 5 machine. Gets himself down to pit road speed of 50 miles an hour, crawling his way all the way down to his P3 stall. Ian Campbell coming off now. Kensley Smith coming down pit road, coming to the attention of his crew. see 3 wide right there now. Not something Kohlhaas wants to see. That 41 machine tags the wall one more time. That's a 41 of Aaron Marquis. 72 of Daniel Honeycutt has come down pit road. Taking that Toyota down to his crew. Daniel currently up 2 positions from where he started. Your biggest mover so far of the night is still the 12 of Ian Campbell, up 9 positions from the start of this race. Currently right now, Ira Kohlhaas, one of 3 cars on the lead lap, about to be 2 at the moment. And that's just a cycle of what happens here on pit road. When you have these green flag pit stops, you do lose a lap. There's no way around it. The key is, if you do come down pit road, you want to make sure there is no yellow that comes out after until you get around that leader one more time, because otherwise you will be stuck a lap down. It makes for a very long night if you're having to race your way like we see tonight, where it's green flag pit stops the whole way around. As 3 wide there, what a fight behind it. That was the 12 of Ian Campbell, as well as the 21 and that 43 machine. That double zero's there. Oh, Corey drifting up a little bit, trying to catch the draft of Alex Teft here. And he's going to get the run, get the position, move Corey up to P4 at the moment. Still 1 lap down, trying to get his lap back the hard way. Ian was able to get around Ira. Brandon was on the lead lap already. Corey now gets ahead of this 29 machine. While all this has been going on, Aaron Marquis has taken his car onto pit road. Timothy Hoke has now come down pit road. Very strong fight for all these guys right now. We're jumping around a little bit. We got a couple fights going on. The 12 and this 21 machine fighting it out as the 72 gets right to the back bumper of the 43 machine. Alex has not come down pit road yet. He's trying to run this thing out as long as he possibly can, hoping for that yellow, because if it comes out and he has not come down pit road, he essentially has a free set of tires on the entire field by waiting out as long as he can. Ira Kohlhaas takes that machine down to the crew. Started out on pole, currently sitting P2 after a strong run so far. Alex Teft now takes that 43 Aflac 4 down onto pit road. This is a big moment sliding that car. Does a great job though to keep it under control, hits pace speed. But all this is going to hand the lead back over to the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger, currently out to a 9 1/4 second lead. Over the fight now between Ian Campbell and Corey Crowell. A little bit of lap traffic there with the 10 machine of Kirby Wainscott. Holding on to that SpongeBob machine up there. Joshua Neal trying to catch up to that 29 of Ira Kohlhaas now. So through that entire pit cycle, Ira went from leading and staying out as long as possible. Now falls back to P number 6, currently has about 5 to 10 laps over those around that 29 car. Had a great pit stop, a little bit slow on entry at 45.27, but one of the fastest times installed at 14.85. Excuse me. That has allowed that 29 machine here to still be P6, having a very strong run at the moment. Most of this field, folks, is now spread out Little fight here starting to form between the 14 and that 29 machine. 10-lap difference on their tires right now. As we are on lap 79, Brandon Puffenbarger getting ready to finish that lap as he does now. 50 laps to go for Brandon once he gets back around to the stripe again. Sadly, no information when we pull that up for Brandon. But while we jumped over there, the 14 and 29 have now flipped positions. Move Ira into the top 5. Lee Campbell drops back into the P6 spot. Trying to do what he can, really keeping that car steady. You saw that little bit of movement on corner exit. Just ahead, the fight is on for P3 between Corey Crowell and Daniel Honeycutt. Daniel really trying to roll that bottom, following the tire tracks of that 21 machine. Trying to keep the draft off that 0-0. So how I had that gyro cam on Puffenbarger, I was able to get a helmet cam on the 72. As you see Honeycutt get right to the rear bumper of that 21. Tries to drive underneath. Gives the advantage of 5-lap newer tires to pull ahead into the corner. That 72 is going to get the advantage, get the line, and start to make his way and close that gap onto Ian Campbell. About 2.25 seconds between second and third place right now. Campbell currently your biggest mover on the night, up 12 spots. On the night. All these drivers doing a fantastic job here. We have 15 drivers take the green flag. We currently have 8 of them on the lead lap. Andrew Teft currently the last car on the lead lap right now. You see him fighting that 41 machine of Aaron Marquis. That is not for position at the moment. But as of right now, it has been all Brandon Puffenbarger out front in this 5 Camaro. We're going to take a quick break, folks, pay a couple bills, and we will be right back here for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, race number 6 at Homestead-Miami. Hang tight. Welcome back, folks, to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, race number 6 of the chase here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We saw the fight and the pass happen for P number 9 between Kensley Smith and Dennis Kane. Kensley able to use that low line. Ford got into the wall just a little bit. With that advantage to the 00 as Kensley now pulls away a little bit and sets his sights on the 98 of Andrew Teft. Field mostly spread out right now, folks. So we're trying to show you the battles that we know are there. Right now, Brandon Puffenbarger getting ready to come to lap number 90 of 130 here tonight. Has been out front since early on in this race here. He's been glued to that bottom line, maybe a lane up, and he's just had his sights set forward and never looked back. Currently sitting at about a 9.4 second gap back to your biggest mover, Ian Campbell. This number 12 body armor machine. Ian currently has a 2.25 second gap back to the 72 of Daniel Honeycutt. Corey Crowell right now sits in P4, about 3.5 seconds back of that 72. About 2 seconds back right now is Ira Kohlhaas in this 29 machine. Now we saw how long the 29 ran under that last green flag run. Sadly is not going to be able to make it on field. We'll have to make one more pit stop, but so will just about this entire, everybody should be able to make it with one more stop if my math is correct for these guys. But we'll finish rounding out your top 10. Lee Campbell right now is in 6th in that 14 Chevy. Joshua Neal in this 82 Chevy. The U.S. Silicones LLC machine. Andrew Teft right now in P number 8. Like I said, last car on the lead lap right now. Kensley Smith in the 00. Rolling that high line is in P9, and Dennis Kane right now rounds out the top 10 here. We'll keep working our way through the field right now. Everybody from Kensley back is at least one lap down. Alex Teft sits right now in P11 in that 43 Ford. Timothy Hoke in P number 12, also one lap down. Kirby Wainscott is the last car one lap down right now in P13. I'm sorry, 2 laps down is Wainscott. As you see the 29 and the 21 just ahead of them. We'll jump back up, so that's a pretty good fight right now forming between these two drivers. Got about a 10 lap difference between the tires on that 29 machine and the 21. And you see Ira get right to the back bumper of Corey. Does a great job staying right there as they go down into turn number 1. That tire advantage is just too great as Ira now takes over this P4 position. Move that 21 back to P number 5 right now. Got another fight here between the 43 and the 4, Dennis Kane and Alex Teft. Sorry about that. Kane doing everything he can on that high side, trying to hold off this advancing 43. Alex able to use that low line and keep those tires at, like we said, 10 lap difference between them. Move Alex up to P number 10 right now. This 29, after getting ahead of Corey Crowell, is closing in a little bit on Daniel Honeycutt. Still about 3 3/4 seconds gap between them at the moment. But Joshua Neal doing everything he can to try and get to that back end of that 14 machine of Lee Campbell just ahead of him. This is where we talked about guys that are able to save their tires and start moving their way forward longer into this run. Currently, the 14 and the 82 came in on the same lap, back on lap 65. As Daniel Honeycutt will be your first driver onto pit road. We're going to stay with this battle right now as things are heating up here between that 14 and 82. Josh doing a great job saving those tires, and able to use the durability in life that he has to close in on Lee in this 14. We've seen Lee have a little bit of trouble earlier, catching the wall a few times. He's moved himself down the racetrack currently, doing what he can to hold off this advancing 82 machine. '29 of Ira Kohlhaas, after going the longest from his last stop, now takes it down pit road. Take it to the attention of that 29 crew. We'll watch this pit stop here, folks. As actually, you see this 14 right now just getting past. We're going back to this pit stop. 4 tires and fuel for this 29 machine. We'll also update that Ian Campbell is in. Andrew Teft is in. Josh Neal is in. Kensley Smith is in. Dennis Kane has also taken this car down pit road. Jarrett Larder has come down. The money stops have happened, folks. These drivers have given it everything they can tonight. Now you see the advantage of the short pit trying to use fresher tires to make up time. Like we said, from where they were to start the night, they are running about, currently your leader is a second and a half slower from his best laps tonight. Corey Crowell in this 21 now on pit road. Lee Campbell in as well. Alex finishing his pit service, getting ready to peel on out of there. You see that 43 right behind him. Jarrett Larder looks like he has pulled that car back into the garage for a minute. As your leader still is Brandon Puffenbarger, as he now takes that car down pit road. Brandon is able to react to those drivers around him, that pit, and able to look at their lap time, see how much they are either gaining or losing to him. And Brandon has the advantage to react accordingly, stay out a couple laps longer, have a couple lap fresher tires. As the fight right now is back on between this 12 and 72 machine. These drivers each pit a few laps ago. The 72 pitted on lap 96. Ian pitted on lap 98. So 6 and 4 laps respectively on their tires. This is a heck of a fight going on between these two. They've been around each other all night long. See right now, Puffenbarger able to get back out front, still holds about a 6-second lead over this duo here, fighting side by side. In fact, they're closing in faster than expected. That 5 had a little bit of trouble behind the 14 of Lee Campbell, trying not to go a lap down. Just not able to do anything with it right now. Timothy Hoke has now taken that 59 machine down pit road for service, but the fight is still on between these two, all over each other. They have been running identical lap times, 33:47s, laying everything out on the line with about 26 laps to go here. This is your tightest battle on track at the moment. There's another little fight between Alex and Dennis. But right now, a little bit of trouble there for that 72 machine. Almost got into the door of that 98 of Andrew Teft. Able to keep it off that 98, but lost a couple tenths of a second to Ian. As he now needs to regain his composure and start working his way back forward. Try and get a couple different camera views here of this fight. But you see right now, Ian's pulled himself back out to about 8/10 of a second lead right now. I'm going to jump back between this 43 and the 10. Huge tire advantage, about 27 laps Alex has over Kirby Wainscott. Kirby still has not come down, nor has Aaron Marquis. Both of those drivers last pitting on lap 71, so they've got about probably another four laps in the tank before they need to come in and worry about a pit stop. Dennis Kane able to get around that 10 now. He's going to keep working his way forward, trying to get to that back end. Catch himself in the draft of that 43 of Alex Teft. Now you really see that difference in lines. You saw that there. The bottom for that 43. Rolling the high side for the 4. It's a little bit close to the wall there. Great job of keeping it off of the wall. As he's trying to hunt down Alex down to about 1.6 seconds here. Doing a great job closing in. All the while, Ian Campbell is now back out to a 1.6 second lead over the 72 of Daniel Honeycutt. Your top 5 at the moment: Brandon Puffenbarger, Ian Campbell, Daniel Honeycutt, Ira Kohlhaas, and Corey Crowell make up your top 5 cars here tonight. Currently, this is the closest fight on track. Like we said, Homestead is known for these long green flag runs. Once you kind of get past about 5-6 laps, the field really starts to spread out from guys trying different things to save their tires or to gain speed. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. These guys are running a fixed setup, so everybody has the exact same setup under that car. Exact same air pressure, exact same track bar height, all of it. The only difference that they have is their brake bias, if they wish to change it, their steering ratio, if they wish to change it, and the steering wheel offset, basically the angle at which the wheel sits on the steering column, none of which necessarily affect the handling of the car, although some will claim that a higher steering ratio, where you have to turn the wheel more in order to get the tire to turn a certain amount, versus a lower steering ratio, will help you in the long run of saving that right front tire. I have found it kind of depends. Personally, I have had success with that high steering ratio, and I've had success with the low steering ratio. So there's really nothing that is concrete evidence either way to say it works or doesn't work, as both the 41 and the 10 have now taken their cars down pit road for their final pit stop here on the night, as we are less than 20 laps to go here at Homestead. Brandon still out front, currently with only a 4.8 second lead over second place Ian Campbell. And that gap's been fairly steady since they all came in. If anything, I think Ian's been able to close in about 3/4 of a second to Brandon. this 12 body armor scheme. Currently sitting P2. Daniel Honeycutt had a little bit of issues, and he's fallen back now to about 4 seconds behind Ian. Ira's about another 6 seconds back from that fight. It seems these drivers have had a little bit more luck with that right rear tire, especially longer in the runs, versus what they were having at the start of the race. So that has helped them out. The sun's gone down more. Let's take a look. Track temp has come down about a degree from where we started tonight. And yes, it's only 1 degree, but that 1 degree will make a difference in the amount of grip that tire has on the track. And then the ambient air temperature, even though in iRacing, the cars all make the same amount of horsepower no matter what, certainly the cooler the air, as we see Aaron Marquis has had an issue here. 41 coming off a pit road. We need to wait and see exactly what happens. Little wiggle. Just rolling the high side right now. We're going to see if this car just steps out a little bit. Oh no! Hard contact to the tire barrier there for that 41. Aaron's going to have to tow that thing back to the pits and use that fast repair that he's got. Problem is he has to sit and wait for the tow truck to come get him, take him to his stall, drop him off before he can use that fast repair. And right now he has taken the car behind the wall as he waits for that tow to happen. Yep. Taking it behind the wall at the moment. So, folks, we've got 14 laps to go. We're going to take a quick second, pay our last set of bills, and then we will be right back for the finish here at Homestead for race number 6 of the chase for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Hang tight, folks. Welcome back, folks. We have 12 laps to go here at Homestead. Make that 11 as your race leader, Brandon Puffenbarger, comes across the line. 11 laps to go here at Homestead for race number 6 of the chase for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. My name's Greg McConey. We've been up in the booth all night. We have been clean and green for the last 119. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there with that 59 of Timothy Hoke. Timothy not fighting the 82 right now for position. Just where they are at side by side on track right now. That 82 doing a great job. There's about 5 lap older tires in this 59 Ollie's machine. But as I was saying, folks, we have been clean and green for the last 120 laps here. And these guys have put on one incredible show. You've seen tire strategy. You've seen fuel strategy. You've seen guys have to hit their pit stops, short pit, overcuts. It's all been happening here, folks, at Homestead, as we are now less than 10 laps to go. Puffenbarger doing a fantastic job. He's been out front since early on in this race. Ian Campbell, your biggest mover, still sits in P2. He's currently sitting about 6.5 seconds back from that number 5 and currently sitting about 6.5 ahead of this 72 machine of Daniel Honeycutt. Doing a fantastic job right now. Ira Kohlhaas played the long game during that middle stint. Ran about 8 laps longer, 10 laps longer than the rest of the field. Currently sits in P4 right now, down 3 positions from the start of this race. That 29 machine was on pole. But doing a great job right now, was able to play that strategy, stay in position. He's going to come home with a solid finish as long as this thing stays green right now. Corey Crowell in this 21 machine has the 43 of Alex Teft right behind. Once again, not for position at the moment. Corey rounding out your top 5 here. Up 3 positions from the start. Once again, another very solid run for Corey. And these drivers that you see out front right now are all fighting for playoff and chase contention, trying to catch Daniel Honeycutt and Brandon Puffenbarger right now. Coming into tonight's race, Puffenbarger and Honeycutt are tied for the lead with 28 points back to Andrew Teft in P3. So this is exactly what Puffenbarger needed. Honeycutt doing a fantastic job coming home in P3, been up front just about all night. So we see what sounds like a car catching the wall just a little bit there. We're going to jump back to this fight between the 43 and the 4. About half a second separating these two drivers. 4 and 43 came in within a lap of each other for these tires. It's 5 laps to go are on the board. This is your closest fight right now. Four has been really rolling that high side well. He's been living up there most of the night. F43's loved about lane and a half up off the bottom. It's kind of worked for him. As you see right behind them is the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger, looking to put another lap on these drivers. As currently your top 5 are the only ones that are on the lead lap. Puffenbarger 4 laps to go. He's really looking to close in on this 4. As you see them split high and low, he's going to make Puffenbarger go through the middle. Puffenbarger's going to clear that 4 just for a second, but not on exit. 4 is going to keep that draft going down the back straight, or down the front straightaway behind that 43 machine. As these two fight it out. Oh, the 43 tags the wall. Not what Alex needed to do right there. He's going to allow the 4 to get to his get to his inside quarter panel. They're going to be side by side going down into turn 3. As Brandon just ahead of him is getting ready to take 2 laps to go. We're going to sit on this fight just a little bit longer, folks. Brandon right now out to about a 7.5 second lead. Give the spot to the 4 right now as they come across the line. 2 to go. That's going to give the position to the 4. So we're going to jump back up with Brandon Puffenbarger right now. As we said before, Brandon won last week at Kansas, led 51 laps, the most out of anybody. He came into tonight tied for the lead in points. He knew he had to come in strong. And that's exactly what he's doing. White flag in the air one more time around here at Homestead. Brandon keeping that car through the middle lane, not even going to risk going up near the wall at this point. He's got an 8 1/4 second lead over Ian Campbell. Down to the bottom through 3 and 4. One more time, folks. Coming out of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag. Give the win to Brandon Puffenbarger by 8.5 seconds over Ian Campbell right now in this 12 machine. Takes the checkered flag. Daniel Honeycutt will finish out the podium tonight in P number 3. Ian Kohlhaas now comes across the line. P4, Corey Crowell. Currently sitting right now coming out of coming out of turn 4, down on that bottom line. He sees the checkered flag. He will finish this race out as the last car on the lead lap. And that, folks, will end tonight's race here at Homestead. They went clean. They went green for 130 laps. And your winner is this number 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger. As he burns it down, we're going to get ready. We're going to pull Brandon up into this booth if I can find him real quick. Maybe I can find Brandon. Well, while we wait for him to jump into Discord, there he is. We're going to pull him up right now. Brandon, Greg McConey up in the booth, man. Congratulations on your race. You were out front most of the night. Man, tell us how you did it.
Patience on the bottom. We had a practice race Monday night, so I was ripping the top and it was just eating the right front. So I was talking to one of my friends that is pretty close to being a pro driver. He's like, just try the bottom and be patient on the throttle, and everything else will take care of itself. So,
well, it certainly took care of itself tonight, man. You won last week at Kansas. You win again here at Homestead in a dominating fashion, if I have to say. Man, what we saw a lot of guys, and we heard a lot of guys early on talk about how loose this car was on corner exit. Now, that was when they were rolling the top. What were you feeling off the bottom?
I was kind of tight in the center there on the bottom for a little bit, but I was fighting a little loose coming off of 2 and sometimes out of 4, but that was just because I was getting in the gas way too soon. But other than that, it was tighter than usually what I like for a race car, but I think it helped tonight for most guys just so everybody could keep it underneath of them.
Well, Brandon, that's going to help you most likely keep you were tied coming into tonight in points. You're most likely going to walk out with the lead right now. You guys head to Iowa next week. What are your expectations for that race?
Iowa is probably my best track besides Dover, so I'm probably trying to go for 3 in a row.
Well, man, you've got 2. You're almost there, getting ready to complete the turkey. Who do you need to thank for tonight's race?
Just you guys for putting on the broadcast, Andrew and all the guys. They race pretty clean, and I like racing with these guys. They're pretty fun to race with.
Well, Brandon, congratulations again on your win here at Homestead in race number 6 of the chase. Good luck the rest of the way through, and we will be seeing you again, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That is your race winner. Now we're going to get ready to pull Ian Campbell up into the booth. Let's see if we can find him here in Discord. There he is. Ian, Greg McConey up in the SRM broadcast booth, man. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Greg.
Well, you come home tonight in P2. Strong race, strong run all night long. You were the biggest mover in that number 12 machine, man. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, I kind of messed up in qualifying. On my first lap, I got into the wall on turn 4, and it kind of messed up my second lap, so I had to start deep in the field. I think my strong suit was the long run tonight, so I kind of hate that I messed that up. And maybe if I could have started closer up front, I could have had something for Brandon. But congrats to him. He did really good and ran away with it there at the end.
You came in tonight. Let me double check where you were at in points right now. Actually, I'm not sure where you are in points in the standing. There you are. You came in. No, that's Lee. I'm sorry. You came in outside of the playoff points. Tried to take it away from those in the chase. You guys go to Iowa next week, man. What are you expecting for that kind of race?
Back to the short tracks. I like the short tracks, but this league tends, if we get a lot of people together, tends to breed cautions because everybody's fighting for a real tight space. I do like Iowa because you can run kind of the high side or the low side. I think Brandon really likes that track though, so I think he's going to be the one to beat.
Yeah, he said he was looking forward to that race, man. But you had that number 12 machine on rails tonight. Who do you need to thank for this P2 finish?
Well, I gotta thank my smoking hot wife for letting me come up here and race with y'all. Spending all this time away from her and my family, so gotta thank her. Gotta thank my crew chief Larry for calling me into the pits at the right time, calling good strategy. So, and then thanks to all the guys here at Racers Elite and then also Sim Racing Media. And thank you, Greg, for putting on this show tonight.
Oh, it was my pleasure, man. You guys put on a fantastic race here. Now go upstairs. It's probably time to hop off the computer, go hang out with the wife. Trust me, I know that feeling. Go enjoy,
Yep.
man. Go celebrate this P2 finish, and good luck next week at Iowa.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
You too. That was Ian coming home in P2. Now we're going to try and pull Daniel Honeycutt up into the booth. Daniel, you hear me, man?
Yep, I got you. How you doing?
I am doing well. How about yourself? Taking home P3. Tell us about
Can't
your race.
complain. Can't complain. Wish it would have been a couple positions better, but still decent. Keeps me in the fight at least and makes things a little bit interesting. And I don't know. We'll have to see how the next, I guess, 3 races pan out.
You guys are winding down. You came into tonight tied with Puffenbarger for the lead in the chase. P3 finish is certainly going to help you a lot with that. You know, what were you feeling behind the wheel of that car tonight?
It got a little tight there at the end of each run, and I thought I was saving enough tire to keep up with Brandon and then maybe eventually pass him, hoping he use up a lot of his stuff, but he never did, and he's always been good on that. Every time we get into a mile and a half at least with a long run, he can always save it a lot better than I can, but I kept trying, I kept pushing it, I pushed a little too hard on one run, I went a little too soft on the other run, and it just didn't work out.
Well, like I said, you're still going to be in a solid spot for points in the chase. You guys go to Iowa next week. What are your expectations?
Well, if the past short tracks have been any indication, I'm looking for a win there because just about every one we've been to, I've been top 3, top 2 there. So I'm just hoping to go out there and maybe close this thing out.
Well, man, once again, congratulations on P3. Who do you need to thank for tonight?
Just the league as usual. I want to thank Greg Reed at 21 Studios Design. He put this paint scheme together for me, and say goodbye to the old Twix car and hello to the new car I got tonight. And I want to thank you for broadcasting this. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. I enjoyed being up here in the booth calling this race for you guys. You guys put on a heck of a show all night long. Clean and green for 130 laps is absolutely something to write home about. But congratulations, man. Good luck next week at Iowa, and good luck through the rest of the way of the chase.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks. All right, folks, that is going to round out our interviews for tonight. Let's take a look at the final race order. Your winner once again tonight, Brandon Puffenbarger, comes home in P number 1. Ian Campbell takes home P number 2. Daniel Honeycutt rounds out the podium in P3. Ira Kohlhaas takes home P4 after a strong finish. P5 goes to Corey Crowell, and Joshua Neal takes home P6. Everybody from Josh back, though, going green the whole time. Sadly, they were the first cars 1 lap down. Leah Campbell comes home in P number 7. Andrew Teft, P8. Kensley Smith comes home in P number 9. And P10 is Dennis Kane, 2 laps down tonight. Alex Teft comes home in 11th. Timothy Hoke in 12th. Kirby Wainscott, 13th. Aaron Markey, 14th, after having that issue on pit entry where he slid out of 4. He had to wait for that tow to come and sadly put him 24 laps down tonight. Jarrett Larder had an early issue. He finishes in P15, 36 laps down. And Gary Madu did not take the green flag here tonight at Homestead. Well, folks, I want to thank you for joining me up here in the booth as we watch the Racers Elite Xfinity Series here at Homestead for race number 6 of the chase. We saw a fantastic show. Congrats once again to everybody that raced. And I want to thank you all for joining me. Once again, my name's Greg McConey. You should be back to your regularly scheduled broadcaster next week in Mr. Mike DeMoney. But I thank you for letting me be here and enjoy this race with you guys. I want to leave you all with one final reminder. Thank those around you. As Tony used to say, when you walk down the road of life, folks, please don't play in traffic. I want to remind you to keep your foot to the floor, keep the car off the wall, and we'll see you back here at SRM. Good night, everybody.